You know, there's a game series that I kind of want to highlight. I want to have a spotlight on. And it's not a game series that anybody talks about like anymore, like at all. Everybody remembers all the shooter games from back in the day, like GoldenEye, Call of Duty 2, Doom, Wolfenstein. Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare. The classic shooter games. But something that's in the background of shooter games that gets remembered for like third-person shooters, like before the days of Splinter Cell, around the time of the first Metal Gear Solid game. Metal Gear Solid, I mean, that was in 98, so I think the first one of these games is in like 98 or 97, something like that. And I'm talking about Syphon Filter. Nobody talks about Syphon Filter at all today. This is how you know Syphon Filter fell off pretty hard. The last game that they made was for the PSP. And they had two of them on the PSP. They had like Logan Shadow and like Dark Resurrection. No, that's Tekken. Logan Shadow, Dark something, Dark Fear, Dark Filter, Dark Syphon Filter. This game, shit, bashing my face into the mic. Syphon Filter was like a game that everyone played back then. Everyone had it. I actually rented it. I rented the third one. I had the second one, had the first one, but I rented the third one for the PlayStation 1. They had all... It was kind of weird. Games back in the day, you would get a new game every year. So you would have Syphon 1 one year, Syphon Filter 2 came out the next year, Syphon Filter 3 came out the year after that, and then they went on a hiatus until like, I don't know, 2002 or 3 or 4, when they came out with the Omega strain for the PlayStation 2. I don't know how well it did. It was like an online only kind of game. I remember playing it and I thought, I can't beat this game. I gotta have internet for my PlayStation 2. I don't have internet for my PlayStation 2. You're telling me I have to get an Ethernet cord and hardwire, and I need this like device that hooks on the back of it? I don't have any of that. And by that point, the 360 was already out. Like when these like online components for the PlayStation 2 was being made readily available. And then you also had the first Xbox One, not the Xbox One, not the Phil Spencer. It's called a 360.
And fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message. If you don't like it,
if you
television. I'm talking about the Xbox One had online capabilities, but Syphon Filter Omega Strain, by this point, I don't even know. I feel like it could have been a cool game, just wasn't my cup of tea. Couldn't play the game. But Syphon Filter, everybody always talks about these games. Syphon Filter 2 especially. One thing I will say about these games, do they hold up? First of all, no. Does GoldenEye 64 hold up? No, it doesn't. You're telling me the controls are in any old shooter game is not as good as we really remember. Trust me on that. Trust me, you gotta fucking trust me on that. Trust me, these games are trash. They were garbage when they came out and they're garbage now. I want my ooh-woo Call of Duty. So Syphon Filter is essentially a third-person tactical action game, and you have a taser. Oh! You just tase people until they spontaneously combust, and that's pretty much like the whole game. Now, one thing that I wanted to say is that even though the game, like, it's a very sloppy game, you're slipping and sliding around, running around. At the time, the animations looked very cool because it's like, whoa, everything is like used to like Resident Evil stiffness, like where their hands are like doing this, or you know, pixelated. But in Syphon Filter, they had this weird like, they would like,
we're making the drop now. Morgan says you've got 2 hours.
Have the samples from the girl yet?
We can begin processing Fagan's sample and do hers when it arrives. Otherwise, the shipment will be delayed.
You can take a break, Airman. We'll be done in 10 minutes.
I'll need to see your ID, sir.
We're with FEMA. Do we need to refer to your commander?
No, sir.
They would always be in that kind of animation. It was like top notch. It was like top of the line, like technology for the time. And then there was like a roll feature. So like on paper, for the time that that game came out, it was like a perfect cover up of a game. It was just fun enough and it gained just enough traction to have like a sequel, and the sequel was really cool. What was really cool was the 2-player, like the split screen. I think there might have been 4-player, but you could do like 1v, you can deathmatch split screen, which is crazy cool. That was like the most fun thing. Running around, having to do like headshots only with like a grenade launcher on Syphon Filter 2. Oh my god. Those were the days. Just back in the day. For me, it was like 2003 or 2004. I think maybe even 2005. I'm not sure. That game was so fun. But what is Syphon Filter about? Who gives a shit? The story is, I mean, come on, just listen to the voice acting in the first one.
Logan is my best agent. What do you want to do?
Nothing. We will wait. We will wait and see what he can discover.
When does the operation begin?
Our intelligence within the FBI was not clear, but Romer's men are already inside the subway.
Is it the same virus?
Yes, enough to eliminate everyone within 100 miles or more.
There's a bioterrorist virus called the Syphon Filter, where if it like spreads in the world, then the world will die, and then everyone will die, and it's in the terrorists' hands, and you got to take it out of the terrorists' hands and give it back to the president. And you're like with this organization that's like taking out this Syphon Filter. Like this was like the PlayStation 1's GoldenEye. GoldenEye was on the Nintendo 64. They also had Perfect Dark. The PlayStation had Medal of Honor, and Syphon Filter. That was the game that they had for like third-person shooter. Again, it might be one of the worst games to hold up in terms of like replayability, but like it was cool. Like there were so many weapons to choose from. There was like a pistol, a submachine gun, a machine gun, a shotgun, a knife, a taser. The taser being the best one, obviously. But it doesn't really get talked about like at all anymore because there was like it hasn't existed in like 20 years. I think the last Syphon Filter game was like 2010. I could be wrong. It might be like 2008. The last one that they put out was on the PSP. I don't know. Maybe it was on PlayStation 2, but I'm pretty sure it was a PSP exclusive. But it had such a like unique kind of style to it, very tactical, Mission Impossible action game. The main character is Gabriel Logan. I'm Gabriel Logan, and you can't possibly win.
Damn it.
Your partner in the game is Leon, who ends up being like a double agent in like the later games. Like in like the PSP game, she's like a double agent or something, but she died or something in the third one. I don't know. The story really doesn't matter, but the gameplay is phenomenal. It's actually kind of frustrating. I don't know. I wanted to highlight Syphon Filter. That game, that might be a game that a lot of people have memories of, and I think you can play it on like the PSN. They have like, I'm pretty sure they have 1, 2, maybe 3 as well on the classics collection of the PlayStation classics. I played a bit of the first and the second one, replayed some of it. Rolling around still feels really cool. Like the movement is kind of cool. Like overall, like the game was okay. It was one of those games where it was like, that's the game to rent this game back when, you had, video rental stores, which, I really, I kind of grew up in the age where they were dying out anyways, but, you could still rent games, and renting games was still like a pretty cool thing to do. Instead of like shilling out money for a game that you don't barely want to play for more than a couple days, then you return it. I think I even rented like 1 or 2 360 games. I think I rented BioShock from my local movie gallery. I rented BioShock. That was the last game I rented. And by that point, it was already very old to rent games, but I think I wanted to rent it for the novelty of it. By this point, I own like a lot of 360 games by this point, but I wanted to rent a game, like one last game, and it was BioShock. It was cool because I never played BioShock, and I got to rent it and play BioShock. I remember talking to friends, and I was like, "Yeah, I wish I could play, Halo with y'all, but I gotta play BioShock. I got it rented, so I gotta return it in like 4 days, so I gotta beat it by then." That's kind of a good feeling. It's like it forces you to play the game because you have to return it. Get you to play games that you never would play otherwise. But today you've got like Steam, and you can just buy a game and then return it after 2 hours. No, you had to, back in the day, you had to drive to the location if you wanted to return something that you rented. And by that point you start thinking, well, I got a couple days on the rental. I might as well just stick it out and play this shitty game. If it is a shitty game. Might not be a shitty game though, not every time. Syphon Filter, was it shitty? It kind of is, but I'm pretty sure it was good enough to be a greatest hits for the PlayStation 1. Definitely Syphon Filter 2. That game came on 2 discs, I think. 2-player, awesome 2-player. But there's so many cool, there was a lot of cool sections of the game, like you're jumping on a train, you're sneaking kind of in Syphon Filter 2, you're sneaking through a hospital to escape. You're sniping people. There's a pretty big twist in the end of the second one. But when I say twist, there's a huge twist ending in the second Syphon Filter game. It's such a big twist. It's one of those twists where when you see it, you go, oh, okay. A character that you meet on the first level ends up being like the bad guy on the last level.
Gabe, you can't hurt me.
Chance.
You don't sound surprised.
I'm not. All the time in Colorado, the agency seemed to know what I was doing before I did. Our route down the mountain, my direction on the highway, the train, and the labs. You were dressed in a hospital gown so they could lock me up with you in case the drugs didn't work.
It's a twist that makes you go, okay. Cool. I think you have to do something weird at the end of Syphon Filter 2. Like you have to roll under a helicopter to like, he's got to like hit the helicopter blades. You can't shoot him.
Is that the best you can do, Gabe?
Because he's got armor on, so you have to use the helicopter blades to defeat the boss. I guess that's kind of unique, but overall, I mean, I don't know why that game fell off. I don't know why it didn't get more games. I mean, Rainbow Six on the PlayStation 1 sucked ass. That was the worst fucking game of all time. First-person shooter, Rainbow Six, the first one ported to the PlayStation 1. That was my first-person shooter game. That game, I didn't know what I thought I was just like a stupid kid, like a stupid child trying to like play this adult shooting game. No, I got older and I replayed it. The game sucks ass. It's terrible. And yet, Rainbow Six Siege is one of the biggest first-person shooter games ever made. Where's Syphon Filter? Where was Syphon Filter's chance to run when Tom Clancy games were sprinting? Where was Syphon Filter's chance to compete in modern gaming? I think they got snuffed for making 2 PSP games. Not a terrible game for the PSP, but where was Syphon Filter's chance? What happened to 989 Studios? What were they doing? What were they thinking? What were they thinking? Who knows where Syphon Filter could be today if they had any type of modern game that was on the 360, the PlayStation 3, like made for the 360 and the PlayStation 3. Now it lives on in the PlayStation Classics collection, never to be seen or heard from again. It's sad, it had so much promise. I blame Omega Strain for being online only. That's what ruined it, I guess. Is it worth playing today? If you've never played it, try it out. If you have a PlayStation 5, try it out on the PlayStation Classics. But other than that, I mean, or get a legitimate copy for the PlayStation 1 and try it out. But you don't have to. It's not like a it's worth trying out, but I don't even know if it is. I guess it is. Yeah, it's worth playing for like 10 minutes. 10 to 20 minutes is worth playing. It doesn't matter which one you get, the first one, the second one, or the third one. The second one is the most popular. Everyone's played the second one. But, yeah, they're all the same game. All three of them are the same game, the first three. I'd recommend it for like 15 or 20 minutes. Whatever.
A crossbow?
Too messy.
A grenade launcher?
Ouch.
How about the taser?
Yeah, Taser wouldn't be bad. It might leave a little rash mark.